Hello, welcome to Bad at Board Games. My name's Brad Lake, and I'm bad at board games, so you don't have to be. Today, we're going to be talking about Spirit Island, Jagged Earth, and a little bit of Branch and Claw in there as well. Stick around, find out what my BGG rating is for Jagged Earth, what my BGG rating is for Branch and Claw. We'll also be looking at Spirit Island base game. Are all these essentials? Should you get all three? Do you just need one? Let's stick around and find out. Pros, cons, all that kind of fun stuff. First off, we will be talking about, this is from Greater Than Games. This is their big game, right? And they've had this out for quite a while. They've had several expansions. It's gotten big enough that they actually have like a retail version. And the retail version is not necessarily easy. So don't fool yourself. I thought that was going to be an easier one. It's not. But it's just a little bit more economical to purchase at Target and Walmart and such. Theme, we are spirits. You know, after you get all the spirits, you have a lot of options. But we don't like the colonists coming in and ravaging our lands and building cities, and we want to kick them out. There's a little bit of metaphor on there, colonialism, all that kind of fun stuff. You decide if that matters to you. Mechanics. So this is a co-op game. It's got some hand management because you have a few spells that you start out with, depending on which spirit you are, and then you can upgrade those or buy more spells as you unlock the tableau that you have. Area majority, area control. You have a map, so for every player you're going to have one of these maps, and they all fit together in an island. And the invaders are going to invade from their home base outward, and you're going to try to destroy them and remove them. So it's area majority against the game versus area majority or area control, however you want to look at it. Wipe the other guy out. Kind of a game. You have simultaneous action selection, so that kind of helps speed up the game a little bit. There's still a lot of, you got to work together and figure out who's going to do what and where. That's where most of the time takes place, but you're all going to pick your spells. But in picking your spells that you're going to use, you kind of have to discuss who's going to do what. Sometimes you may need help because you can't deal with the event or where they're going to spread on your section of the island, and can somebody help you. If you play this game in complete isolation, it's probably a good way to lose. But those are some of the mechanics. I mean, it's you've got a tableau, and it's not necessarily, you're unlocking things so that you become more powerful as the game plays, and you can unlock your spells and try to get more cards, or you can unlock trying to have more energy so that you can cast more spells as you're playing. Well, shouldn't say cast more. You have to be able. They work together, and it just depends on how you wanna manage your guy. Player count. This is 1 to 6. I would never play it at 6. Best player count. Toph loves this solo. I know a lot of people love this solo. But when you're playing at least with other people, 2 to 3, that's where I would kind of cap this off. I don't know if I would want to play. I don't want to play a 4 or 5, and I definitely don't want to play a 6-player game of Spirit Island. You're looking at 45 to 60 minutes per player. I think if you're going to play 6, you might as well just play 2 games of 3 at that point, because you're not going to have you're really not going to have that much interaction with somebody that's all the way over on the other side of the board. So with this expansion, there's a new turn order, and I'm just going to kind of read it off the back, but this is nice. Look, they actually tell you a summary of what it is here. They give you some iconography that'll kind of tell you where this iconography might affect different expansions, whether you have this one or Branch and Claw or the base game. And then they tell you what all the new tokens are. And this includes the Branch and Claw tokens plus the new one from this game. There's also a little cheat card. Board game manufacturers. Let's let's look at this as a must-have. Do this, please. Don't bury all your icons, bury all your stuff. Have it in the last couple pages so we can summarize and try to reference where that description and those rules are. um, so the turn order, you're basically going to have the spirit phase, your phase first, and you're going to be able to unlock your tableau, and you get to choose, where you're going to place your presence. You have tokens on here. They're going to go out on the board, and then you're going to gain energy, and you need energy to be able to play the spells that you have per your spirit. You're going to get 4, and they all reference the spirit that you have, so it's very asymmetric in that standpoint. Then after you gain the energy, you're going to pick one of your power cards, and they're broken up between slow and fast. Slow means the spells are going to happen after all the colonists go and ravage and do their things. Fast means you'll be able to do something before the colonists go. And then that leads us into, after you've picked all those cards, if you have a fast card, you'll be able to play those spells. Everybody that's playing is going to do those. And then you move into the invader phase. The invaders can blight the island. They're going to have events, so you'll be drawing your event card and seeing what bad things happen. If you've gotten enough fear established and you get a fear card, you'll be able to draw that, and these help you. Depending on how far you're on the fear track, you'll have more and more increasing good things for you and bad things for the colonists. Ravage, that's ravaging the land. You can think of that as like kind of the fighting phase if things are triggered, and it'll depend on which cards are being turned up. Everything doesn't get attacked. It'll say we're going to ravage anything in the water areas or the forest areas or the sand area or the mountain area. Cards kind of like work their way through from an explore portion to a build portion to a ravage portion. And then the next step is you look at the card and the environment where they're going to build. So if there's an invader on a mountain and the mountain card is there, you're going to build or expand in that area. And then they're going to explore, and that's the hidden card. So you don't know, you kind of can start to plan out where they're going to ravage, where they're going to build, but then you don't know where they're going to pop up and explore and move throughout the map. So then that's the third phase. So if you want to think about it as they're going to try to damage the land in the first step, they're going to build in a different environment in the next step, and in the third step, you're going to get surprised and see where that they expand out. And then you take the invader cards and shift them. And I don't have that board out, but so hopefully I know that's probably a little confusing, not being able to see what's going on. And then after that's the invader's turn, and then the slow powers are going to go, and the slow powers can either be more powerful, or you could think of them as also defensive spells, reactionary spells, because they're going to do something and ravage this land. You might have something that can take blight off an area that they ravage, things of that nature. I find the fast ones feel like they're more attack. Obviously they're preemptive, they're fast. You're trying to do something and keep them from moving or attacking. And then the slow cards, it's a bit of a mix. And then what we say is it's kind of the cleanup phase. Time passes, so you've played a power card, and you're going to go you take this card and you put it in your discard pile, and then that leaves you with 3 spells. And then, so you're not going to be able to just continue to play the same spell because it's the most powerful. And at some point, you're going to choose on your turn to bring all your cards back into your hand. And then anything that's damaged, things heal essentially. So you're not like, oh, I've done 1 damage to this 2 health building. So now I only have to do 2 health. No, if you want to destroy a building, you have to completely destroy it in the time that you attack it, or in that phase before everything heals. So if your guys, you got the Dahan, these little mushroom pieces, they have 2 health, and so if they get hurt and they don't die, then they heal at the end of that. So everything kind of heals, and then you're going back to the beginning. So it's thinking that like, hey, this is a whole year of things happening, and then people heal and move on. So long-winded explanation. Let's move on. Pros. So if you like a puzzle game, I think you could like this. Now, a difficult puzzle game. Now, that's a pro. It feels more abstract. Now, I know you've got things that, have icons and you have buildings, and it's meant to kind of take some of the abstract away from it. But I almost feel like when I'm playing it, I'm looking at things like that has 1 health, that has 2 health, that enemy has 3 health. And you can see what's coming out. You have 3 cards, and they match, the environments that are here. And so you're trying to plan, how am I going to get rid of that 1 health, token with my tokens, and, I have tokens out on the board that can only reach so far. And so, to me, it's a puzzle game that feels abstract. I don't feel like I'm the spirit so much as I feel like I'm trying to solve this puzzle. And so I find that a pro in this game. I'm usually not a big abstract person, so I think that they've done a good job in balancing that, where they bring in enough of this theme and everything, but I don't feel like I'm like, I got this phoenix and, it's a miniature and it's going across and doing all this thing. It doesn't make me feel like a campaign dungeon crawler kind of a thing. I think Branch and Claw and Jagged Earth makes Spirit Island easier. I like the addition in Jagged Earth. You get these Badland tokens. There's also an isolation one that really didn't come up in our plays. It's like a spell or an event, but I really liked Branch and Claw. So Branch and Claw adds a lot of new tokens, and I think this makes things easier. Like the disease or plague tokens, if this token is in one of the colonist areas and they're going to build, you don't build, you just remove one of these tokens. So it kind of stops them from spreading as easily. The wild tokens, if they're going to explore in that area, instead of exploring, they kind of die because they've gone into the wild, right? And so it stops them from expanding. So, and then having the claw, that this can help you attack more. And then this one is kind of an infighting token where you can place it, and it's kind of meant to give you this like, well, they're fighting against each other, or they're not completely cooperating as human nature is with each other. So this can kind of hurt them in that way. So I think they've given you tools with both of the expansions between Branch and Claw and Jagged Earth that add some complexity, but I don't think the complexity is in these tokens. I think the tokens really just kind of help you like manage the game and win, and I enjoy that aspect of it. There are so many spirits. There's a whole bunch. If you buy the base game, there's a lot in the base game, and then as you buy the expansions, there's a lot in the expansions. There are some that, and they tell you, let's see, on the wrong side, moderate. I kind of like playing with the moderate ones versus like this is a high, and then they have this one that's a very high. There's a couple of them in these, and I'm like, I'm not going to play these. These are like you're growing the spirit from scratch. And no, I'm not going there. I don't want this game to be that hard. But for those that want all of the, like there's easy spirits, and then there's moderate, and then there's complex spirits, and there's very complex spirits. So you have a range of being able to be like, oh, I'm going to, as you grow with the game, if you continue to like playing the game, there is a hardness level for you. The expansion adds more spirits, right? All pros, so you're not going to feel like you're playing the same game ish. The spirits give you enough. This one plays different, significantly different, that it's not going to feel like the same game. So those are all pros. Cons, like I said, it feels abstract. Like I don't get into the theme of it so much. I think I got more into the theme of the animals ravaging across the lands, but I don't. You just have to realize that. I think that if you go into this thing, maybe you'll get all immersed in the theme. But I felt like I was playing more of an abstract game that had like a plant. It could have been plants. I guess I think about that. And which one? Renature up there. Renature is an abstract game, and it's kind of domino-ish, and your area control, and it's a good game. It gives me that kind of feel. It's got a theme, it's got stuff, but at the same time, it feels more abstract than, say, a Euro game that is like Great Western Trail or Gaia Project, things like that. Some spirits you may not find fun. So there are some in here, and they tell you, are they offensive, control? Do they, are good at fear? Are they good at defense or utility, which is, like a all around kind of person? You kind of have to find the play style you have, and if you haven't played one and you try it, like you may not enjoy the whole game because you've picked a spirit that you just don't enjoy that play. And if it's the first time you've played, may not have anything to do with how complex the spirit was. It may just be like it was a defense player, and your play style is like you like to go out and attack. So just kind of be aware of that. You're going to want to try to pick and look at the spirits in a way that's like, how do you normally like to play games? And are you a control person where you like to move things around and you enjoy that puzzle? Or do you just want to go out and attack? Or do you like to sit back and be the defensive player, managing things as they come up? If you pick the wrong spirit, that could make you just not like the game as well. So that's a con. A con can be, and will definitely, and I would say probably is the first time you play it, it's hard. I've heard people be like, I've never won at Spirit Island. Well, we lost the first game we played a long time ago, and then since then we haven't lost. But I can see where if you don't work together, like any complex co-op game, if you're not working together, if you aren't one of those players that likes to listen to other people and you're just trying to, like, if you're thinking, oh, I'm going to win, you gotta look at it holistically. How do we win? You won't enjoy this. That's why it's hard. It is like if you're playing it solo, you don't have to worry about anybody else. Or if you're playing it two-handed, as soon as you start adding people in there, this is the kind of game that will punish you for having somebody that likes to run off and do their own thing and not listen to the group. And then you have alpha players. So you definitely want to have. This is only for groups that work well together. So that's a con. The rules, I think learning this can be difficult. It's going to be watch how to play it. Even that might be difficult. It's really just trying to get the colony phase understood, and then understanding some of the attacks. So I think the difficulty, in my opinion, is understanding the board's colonial expansion and the different phases and how things come out. So that's just something to be aware of in the weight rating. But so BGG is saying, let's see, my computer's turning off. BGG, and I can't see it, is saying that this expansion right here is a 4.53 on the weight rating. And then just for example, Spirit Island Branch and Claw, they're saying is a 4.23. And Spirit Island, they're saying is a 4. Um, I think base game Spirit Island is harder to win, so I would have thought that would have been the higher one. Now, because you have extra chits and extra components, I guess this is why they're saying the weight rating is higher on these. I guess I kind of disagree. I think Spirit Island, just as a game, is probably more of a 4.5. It's not as hard as like Lacerda's in this. Like, this gets tricky. I'd probably push this down more toward a 4 because I think, like when I'm looking at Lacerda's and like different games and like it's is the weight rating based on how hard it is to win, or is the weight rating based on how hard it is to learn and play? I think this is definitely in a 4 to 4.5. But I would probably push it down. Maybe if we're splitting the difference, 4.25 in my opinion, for all three versions. Value rating. So you can get this version of Jagged Earth for $35 to $55 between used and new. If this were on the lower end of that, I'd probably give it a 4. Sitting on a higher side of that, I'd probably give it a 3. And if you're going to pay $55 for this is almost the price of a new game. You have to have other stuff to be able to play it efficiently. I think this is and they even say it in here, some of this is better when you have Branch and Claw. So, now you're talking a more expensive game just to play. So, it's in this 3 and 4 range, depending on which side of the $35 to $55 range you're going to get. Branch and Claw is $20 to $30, which I think is a great deal. I give that 5 out of 5 for the price. If you're getting Branch and Claw within that 320 to 30 range, I definitely think that's a great deal. Spirit Island base game, try to find that on sale. Like it used to be really hard to find under $75. And while I think it's a good game, I think that's a bit of a stretch. I kind of feel like these wood Dahan, the little mushrooms are cool, but like I think these cities, they just seem cheap. And I don't know if it's because of the material they used or what. Everything's a mold, and maybe it's the detail on them. And I don't think, it's okay. It's thick cardboard, but it's not like double layered or anything. And I don't think these cardboard shits are all that great. So I kind of like, okay, it's an expensive game, I think, for what the components are. So you're definitely paying for what they think the game's worth. But I would wait until you can get base game Spirit Island for like $50, if you're going to buy it. And then let's move on to the BGG rankings. So, BGG ranks this Spirit Island Jagged Earth. 4,700 people have rated it, and they were rating it at a 9.4. Compared to Branch and Claw, which I don't have the box out for. So more people have rated that one, 6,300, and they're rating that at a 9, which is interesting. And then Spirit Island base game, 51,000 people have rated that. So a lot of people buying Spirit Island, a lot fewer buying the expansions, but you can tell like people who are buying the expansions like the base game, so the ratings continue to move up. So base game is 8.3. So you're having people buy it, don't like it, probably found it too hard. But there's 51,000 people that have liked it enough or had an opinion enough to go on to BGG and actually rate the game. So I like this version. I don't think I would like, well, I shouldn't say I don't think I would like it without, but I really enjoy it with Branch and Claw. So my rating is kind of based on playing this with Branch and Claw, and I would say this is an 8. I think it's good. I think Spirit Island is good. I'm not like, I don't think Spirit Island for me is a 9 or a 10. I think this is a really good game. Anytime Ashby or Toph want to play it, I am willing to play it, but it's not like my first thing to be like, Spirit Island, let's go. But when I play it, I enjoy the puzzle, and I like seeing what's going out and everything. And I think it's probably because of that abstract version. So for me, this is an 8. I think Branch and Claw, if you're going to buy one, unfortunately, if you're going to buy one of the expansions, I recommend buying both. So now you're up into this, $50 to $75 range just to be able to play the expansions. So yeah, there's that. Downsides to everything. So who is this for? If you want a challenging solo game, this is a good game for you. If you have a good co-op group that likes puzzles and work together, and you don't have that alpha player, I would say this would be a good one for you as well. I haven't tried it to 4, 5, or 6. I guess you could try that, but it's still one of those things I'm not sure I would want a game to go that long. But like, I think it's kind of like that. If you want something challenging, if you want, like I said, and you may not feel this way, but I still feel this is kind of like more on the abstract side of a puzzle game, then this could be something for you. So what do you think? I don't know how long this went. This may be long. I don't know. Comment down below. Let me know what you think. What did I get wrong? But I liked it. If I were going to tell you, I wouldn't play Spirit Island without at least one of these 2 expansions. I would say I would almost pick Branch and Claw first, but like I would want both of these. So does that make it essential? I don't know. I'm glad it's available so that I can play it because I enjoy it, but this isn't coming out like every week or anything. Too many games, too many things going on, but I can recommend it. But I feel like this game is very polarizing, and I can understand why. So take a look, watch the playthrough, see if this is something for you. Let me know down in the comments where this rates for you. So whatever you're doing, however you're playing, whether it's solo, with family, or friends, enjoy whatever you are bringing to the table. Have a great night. Bye.